thanks for sitting down with us. Let's get right into this. Can you introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background on you?
Let's start with my name. Name is Aaron Emmanuel. Background on myself. I play 4 to 5 instruments, not all at the same time. Although I've tried, it doesn't work out well. But I play the piano, bass, drums, and a little bit of guitar. I've been doing music for about a decade. Took classical voice in college, and some other things. I could ramble about this for about an hour, but I won't.
I'm looking at your bio, and I see that your interests musically are very diverse, from opera to rock to hip-hop. How important is it for you to not be pigeonholed, and why?
That's one of those things where people talk about this idea of being out of the box. You know, like, oh, well, this is out of the box or whatever. Prescribing to the idea that a box exists, if you will. So the idea of being pigeonholed musically would have to start with me. I try not to exist in anything but myself musically. It's just whatever sounds good, whatever feels good is what I try to create, is what I try to do, is what I try to follow. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing, because I can be all over the place. I can get into rock or jazz or gospel or blues or folk or whatever. It just keeps going and going and going. So sometimes I'm just meandering around and can't find any sort of focal point sonically for my own artistry or my own music. But at the same time, everything has its value, and even if it's an idea that doesn't get used or developed into a full song that will be released to the world, it still has relevance in my overall creative process. So yeah.
You gained a lot of attention with your cover of Radiohead 15 Steps. What made you decide to do the cover, and were you surprised by all the attention it received?
Yes, I was very surprised by all the attention it has received and continues to receive. What made me decide to do the cover in the first place was I just bought a vocal processor pedal, the pedal that you see in the actual video. I just bought it, and I was just messing around with it. It happens to have a loop function on it. I had never done looping. I knew other musicians that did looping. It was always something I was interested in, but that wasn't exactly why I bought the pedal. But I wanted to mess around with that function, and I happened to be listening to 15 Step and just was playing around with it and made it up and performed it a few times for just family and friends that were around the house, around the studio, and they seemed to all get really excited by it, saying that was really cool, and they encouraged me to post it on YouTube. So that was why I did it, and I was totally floored when it got any sort of attention at all.
How cool was it that Tom York weighed in and said he loved it?
Cool. I'm not even sure there's like a value on the cool scale that you could place it. You know, Tom York is absolutely, to me, in my opinion, an icon of the era in terms of music and rock. You know, Radiohead is just to me, it's a household name in the rock world, in the electronica world. And there's no way to connect with that. There's no way to have sought to achieve that, to put a cover up on YouTube and be like, yeah, Tom York's going to hear this and he's going to love it. There's no way to connect with that. So the fact that it got to that level is just kind of amazing, and still is amazing to this day, even though it happened a couple months ago.
You posted a video that was taken down by Prince, which created a line between creativity, censorship, artistry, and copyright. How do you feel about this?
First of all, let me start off by saying that I love Prince. Love him. Absolutely love Prince. Listening to his music for years, and will continue to listen to his music for years. However, having said that, I did do a cover of I Would Die For You, posted it, and it seemed to be pretty well received. And then 3 weeks after I had posted it, I got an email from YouTube one day that said they had taken it down for copyright infringement, which was very stunning. There was no warning. There was no flag on my account saying that your video might be taken down, or they didn't give me any sort of warning at all. They just took the video down. I don't completely understand. I don't understand. There's no way I'm going to take any sales from Prince. There's just no way. There's no way that he's going to hurt, in my opinion, from me or anyone else doing covers of his music. But overall, what that has taught me is, generally through all the copyright law that I started to look at and lawyers I spoke to after this happened, that it's up to the prejudice of the artist and whoever owns the publishing for the music as to how controlling they want to be over the rights to their music. That they do have the right to do that, to just take things down if they want to. On the one hand, Tom York is all about it. Tom York, have a ball. I feel like he understands that that music starts internally, but at the point you do it outside of yourself, it is out there, it is in the world, and I think he may appreciate that. I don't want to put words in his mouth because it's not necessarily that I've heard him say it, but just the fact that there's so many Radiohead covers out there, and there continue to be, and my cover being posted from his Facebook page and things of that nature would kind of indicate to me that he has a completely different opinion than Prince does. But you win some, you lose some.
If you could form the greatest band ever assembled, who would be in it?
Greatest band ever assembled. This is an excellent question. I would want, if I can span the histories and not just pull from current musicians, if I could pull from people alive or dead, I would definitely get Hendrix. I would definitely want Vivaldi. And probably all those classical dudes. Just bring all your cellos and your violins and oboes and everything. Just come on, let's do this, make this happen. Chick Corea on piano is one of my favorite pianists. Dave Grohl on drums. Some people would probably disagree with me, but I don't care. That dude lays down some drums. Wooten on bass. And I could just keep going and going and going. There's so many amazing musicians. I'm not even sure there'd be enough room for so much awesomeness in one band, but yeah, why not? Let's just do it and see what they would come up with. So I'll stop there.
Music is often referred to as a soundtrack to life. So I figured I'd ask you, what songs in your catalog would we rock out to if we were sad, in love, grinding, fighting for freedom?
Most of the songs that I write come from a melancholic or pensive place. Introspection is a big thing for me lyrically, even though it can come out somewhat abstract, metaphorical at times. That's usually, I would say, 80% of my repertoire of things that I write is that. So sad, maybe a kind of like vague, but yeah, a lot of my songs are those. So I would say These Echoes, Dragonflies, Peculiar Things, Asylum. In terms of in love, again, I approach love from a slightly different standpoint than maybe just a normal romantic love between two people. Sometimes I like to talk about love in terms of maybe a love of nature or the air or an object or like a relationship, like, playing guitar or playing instruments. I sometimes feel like I have a relationship with the music that is coming out of me. So I may write a love song, but I may not necessarily, even if I use the word woman or girl in the song, I'm probably talking about an instrument or something else that's totally random. But I do have a song recently that I wrote called Obsessions that is actually about an actual person-to-person relationship. Having said that, also Dragonflies would probably fall into that category. For grinding, let's take that to mean like working hard. I do have songs about perseverance. So change grinding to perseverance, and pushing through. For me, it would be from a very internal place of the internal struggle, personal battle that I go through, and persevering through my own demons and my own mess. So I have several tunes about that. And then lastly, Fighting for Freedom, a new song that I just started writing recently called Vigilante. Kind of speaks somewhat about social injustice and I guess giving a voice to the voiceless in a way. So maybe, hopefully, you guys will hear these tunes one day, and not me just sitting here talking about them into the wind.
How important is it for you and your music to connect with other cultures?
It's very important. I actually really appreciate the question. Just the question in and of itself is not the average question, but it's very important to me personally. I was raised. My father told me that he wanted me to be a global citizen. Those were his words to me at like 9 years old. And now with the internet and being, social medias and all these things where we can be connected to people all over, I feel in a way it should be much more possible now. I actually kind of am baffled by the fact that we are still so isolated, especially here in America. I think we are, but it's extremely important to me to to not only reach the other cultures, but to be reached by other cultures as well. Like I want the relationship there. Like I don't want to just insert me and my own thoughts onto someone else's cultures. Like I want to experience them and take in their nooks and crannies and the subtleties of their own cultures. I've started reaching out to some of my Facebook friends, people that have found me through YouTube and things, from all over the world, asking them if they would submit artwork and some like DJs, possibly to do remixes of some of my tunes, just to spread it around and translate my song into a different language. Put it into your vernacular, how you would say it, and I love that. I absolutely love it. It's very, very important to me, and I think that it will probably greatly affect me as a musician throughout my career. So, yeah.
Where can we find your present music?
Present music, I'm working on, just because I've gotten several requests for it, I'm going to try to find a way to release the covers that I've recorded. I can't sell them or make any money. I've already gotten, again, with the whole Prince fiasco, but I'm going to try to make them available for download via SoundCloud or Bandcamp or something of that nature, just because people have asked for them. In terms of my original music, as soon as I get a body of work together that I feel is something I would be proud of, something that in 5 years or 10 years from now I would look back and not be like, ooh, I shouldn't have put that out. Which, a lot of artists do. Bands have those kinds of albums and things, but I guess I don't want my first project that I released to be that way. So I don't know. I probably need to work on that inside of me and just put out music, because I do have lots of music. I have lots of songs, lots of things that I have, but it's not currently available yet. But it will be. It will.
What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Smoke signals work pretty well. Drum circles, if you have a fire beacon that you can just light, it'll come around. No, I'm just playing. Facebook, YouTube, all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram. You can reach me at facebook.com/aaron.emmanuel.10 or on Instagram at IamAhyel, IamAhyell, and also at Twitter under the same tag, IamAhyel. Holla at me.
I hate putting people on the spot, but can you leave us with a little something musically? Thanks for the interview, E. I can't wait to put it out there for the world to consume.